What is up, Earthnoids and Spacenoids? I am just a simple Newtype, and in this episode, we are returning to the Titans test team and the manga Advance of Zeta. Last time, Elliot became a Titan and joined the Black Otter squad where he piloted a gem Type C with his comrades Carl and Wes. They went to Side 1, Colony 25 to get repairs when they were attacked. Elliot met a woman who ended up being a part of the Zeon Remnants. This time we see Hazel Custom in action. It's piloted by Audrey, who comes to save the day. Carl's gem sniper is badly damaged, and we are introduced to the Zeon Remnants who are considering a regime change. So let's get into this. Bask is informed that the Black Otter team is going to be running escort on their transport heading to Colony 30. Bask says, "We are so gonna make Auschwitz look like a misdemeanor." At Colony 30, anti-Federation activity is rising. So too is the desire to be autonomous. Captain Otto briefs the team on their escort mission to Side 1. Elliot and Carl wonder what is happening at the colony that requires mobile suits. Perhaps anti-Federation movements are building weapons. They are informed that the new unit based off of the Zaku is ready in the hangar. One Titan named Cabby tells them that it is called the Hi-Zack. Carl says you could call it whatever you want, it's still a Zaku. Carl could still tell that the Zeon remnants that got away are still fresh in Elliot's mind. Otto Peterson overhears them. Carl apologizes and says that he won't let emotion get in the way of the mission. He could tell that Carl is just repeating the words of Wes Murphy, and he doesn't really mean it. It is almost time for their operation and they head to the hangar. Audrey says that something has changed with Elliot since the Colony 25 incident. The story of Elliot is him slowly realizing the horrors of the Titans. In the manga, meeting with Hilda seems to be the first event that makes him wonder his purpose. In the novel, this doesn't really happen until he meets Gabriel Zolo. The upgrades to Hazel turn into the Hazel Custom. The key feature of the Hazel Custom is shield boosters. Everything needs more shield boosters. While escorting, two bogies approach. As they engage, Wes notices something that isn't right with Hazel. He is then attacked. It happens to be a Rickdom. Carl and Elliot move back to the ship to defend. When Hi-Zacks come in to help, they are a part of Bash's team and are taking over the escort mission from here on out. Luckily for them, the Hi-Zacks scared off the Zeon remnants. Hendrik is going to be mad at Wes for damaging Hazel. They head back to the Aswan. Their new mission is to now run rear support for Bask's team as they handle the Colony 30 incident. Captain Otto Peterson says that it might not be a bad idea to get on Bask's good side. If you were paying attention, the Titans test team were indeed the ones that transported the G3 gas to Side 1, all without realizing what they were carrying. In the manga, you're not getting the future events of Elliot in jail, but it's a great part of the book because it goes into detail about the philosophy that good soldiers follow orders. He dissects what that truly means. You're missing out on that in the manga. Since Hazel is damaged, Wes must use one of the new Hi-Zacks. Carl and Elliot only get a moment to breathe before heading back out. But in that moment, we get something not in the novel. Carl doesn't get how he became a Titan. He had poor grades at the academy and was labeled with behavioral issues. So when he applied, he really didn't think he would be accepted. I wonder if this is suggesting that the Titans test team were purposely chosen to be a deterrent, or perhaps a tool to claim plausible deniability in the genocide that is about to occur. The Dom and Zaku flee, but they must prevent the transport from making it to Colony 30. The Zeon remnants are weirded out at seeing a unit that looks exactly like a Zaku being used by the Feddies. EFF using Zaku tech makes them mad. The Black Otters are tailing the Zeon remnants and move in. Carl moves on the Rickdom, but it evades and gets a direct hit on his gem sniper's shoulder. Their Zanzibar ship is not too far out, and the Aswan can spot it. They send out more mobile suits. Captain Otto decides to send out Audrey. Both the gem sniper's shoulder mounts are wrecked. He's dead in the water. Audrey gets into Hazel. Hazel has now reached peak and attained additional shield boosters. Shield boosters make everything better. She launches. Carl wants Elliot to leave him behind, but he refuses. Luckily, Audrey comes rushing in with the shield boosters. It makes Hazel look like a mobile armor. Hazel causes the Zeon remnants to flee. They return to the Aswan. After their mission, Carl tells Elliot why he was fighting the day he met. Essentially, the guy he was fighting was making fun of Japanese people, so Carl started swinging. Carl mentions that it's rare for Japanese people to be in the Titans. Is that true? What's that about? They may not be on the Titans, but they sure do love working with Japanese third parties like Lauren Nakamoto or Muramasa. The two pilots are starting to finally become friendly with one another. Meanwhile, the Hi-Zacks prep 3G gas. The 3G gas canisters used on Colony 30 are properly spelled danger. So 2 years later when Rekoa unleashes gas, it is spelled Dangar. Who messed up in those 2 years? Also, I'm pretty sure that they left Dangar in Zeta Defined and didn't correct the spelling. It's Dangar forever, damn it. On Colony 30, there is a massive rally for Spacenoid independence. Look at this cute kid. I hope nothing happens to her. Now that Carl's mobile suit is out of commission, he is going to use a special version of the new Hi-Zack. The thing doesn't fit in the hangar and they have to tow it. This is the Bi-Zack, codenamed the Bigwig. Remember, this is the evolution of the burst liner, but built into a Hi-Zack. More powerful than Carl's gem sniper, but slower and less mobile. Carl is complaining, but the mechanic Hendrik says, "Hey man, you are the Titans test team. How about you go test?" When they head out, they run into the Zanzibar once again. The team is far away, but Carl has a shot. He tests out the cannon and fires. It misses and he has to fine-tune the adjustments. They got the Zanzibar's attention, and they send out mobile suits. Behind the Zanzibar happens to be a civilian shuttle. There are also Hyzacks pursuing the ship. Carl has another shot, but Wes tells him to stand down as they can't risk hurting civilians. That's not what the Titans stand for. I couldn't say it with a straight face. Oh Wes. Suddenly the ship just explodes. They don't know what just happened and assumed it was the Hyzacks in pursuit. Elliot and Carl thank Audrey for coming to the rescue. The three drink some beers while wondering what the last mission was all about. Little did they know they just assisted in a little bit of genocide. I hope that little girl's okay. At Jaburo, their official statement is that Colony 30 went through a freak outbreak, as they throw it under the rug as a product of living in space. This is a cover-up, but it definitely makes it sound like there were past freak outbreaks on colonies in the past. I guess the closest we saw of this was in Moon, where 1 out of every 5 people have a disease caused by radiation. I guess it's not technically an outbreak though. This incident also gave them the opportunity to establish Green Noah 1. On the Aswan, Carl created a new emblem for Elyard's mobile suit. In universe, Carl is the one who makes all the cute bunny logos. Elyard is upset, but Wes wants one done on his unit. Audrey doesn't even like fake bunnies. Pete informs them that the techies are coming from Kompe Island. They are idealists and want everything exactly to spec, putting most of the hard work on the mechanics like Pete and Hendrik. Carl isn't warming up to the Bigwig, but he doesn't completely hate it. Wes tells Otto Carl is showing great improvement, but since losing his gym, he is like a dog without his owner. Wes says it's like a sixth sense pilots have. He's being hyperbolic, but he's just talking about a strong bond with a mobile suit. Has nothing to do with Newtype stuff. The test team meets with the Kompe Island engineers. Carl and Audrey are heading out for the next test. The two head out. The Bigwig's targets are drones. This mobile suit sits somewhere in between a cruiser and a mobile suit. Although bulky, it is still more mobile than a ship, and with the same firepower. They are testing protocols with the cannon, which has its own generator separate from the mobile suit. While testing, suddenly the generator overloads. The cannon blows up in Carl's face. He jettisons the cannon before a complete meltdown. After returning to the Aswan, the tech team wants to know why he ejected the cannon. They got control of it before it could overload. Carl snaps and says he isn't going to die to test their agenda. Wes punches him in the face for speaking out of line. He is sent to the brig, but not before finishing his report. Teodoro Urbani of the Kompe Island Engineers pays him a visit. He's the lead on the Bigwig. Carl thinks he is going to get him in trouble for destroying his creation, but he has a positive attitude about it and says that next time his creation will be better and Carl will be begging to use it. There are other comrades on this ship that are manga exclusive. The novel does make it like it's only the Black Otters on this ship, but they are test pilots, so they would have to have another squad. One of them saw Xeon remnants on their patrol. He thought it was a Rickdom variant, but it seems completely different from what he encountered before. August, UC 0085. About a month after Colony 30, somewhere around Kompe Island, the Xeon remnants are doing training exercises. This is Gabriel Zola and his Rickdom Stetzer. The manga version of the Stetzer still retains the winch unit, but this version has a shield. Kazakh Larson is amazed by the upgrades of the Rickdom. Zola knows in order to beat the Titans, they need to use non-military standard parts. Not like they have an option considering they are surviving on scraps for the most part. This is needed for Zola just to keep up with the Titans. He wonders if he is having regrets about joining the AUG. It has been 5 years since the end of the 1-year war. They have been running on fumes and need resources. In the novel, he is conflicted. He wants to join Axis, but he has no idea if they are ever coming to the Earth sphere. During the 1-year war, Zola ran into a Gundam a few times. Him seeing Hazel has awakened something inside of him. He asks his men to put the words Xeon alive on the mobile suit. Now, more than ever, other Xeon remnants need to know that there are some who still fight. And that will do it for this episode. The novel explains that the Titans test team is really close, but you don't see it. We just have to accept it. The manga is doing a great job at giving this test team more characterization, though at the expense of a lack of mobile suit lore. The manga just breezes past the technical side of this story. Next time, Elyard gets to pilot a Gundam. They use the Tri-Booster unit, and we learn more about Gabriel Zola. But that will do it for now, Newtypes. Remember, shield boosters makes every mobile suit better. Peace.